Iman Gadzhi uses UI animations like these to boost his engagement on YouTube and Instagram. It's helped him amass millions of views and grow the audience that he has today. I'll show you how to recreate this YouTube animation so that you can do the same. I'll also let you in on editing secrets and show you how you can create a template for Premiere Pro to help speed up your workflow. Watch till the end to find out how you can get the project file for free. Let's get started. Alright, let's start by taking a screenshot of our YouTube video. I'm going to be using one of my own as an example. Hit Command-Shift-3 on Mac or print screen on Windows to take a screenshot of the entire screen, and then hit save. We want to capture the whole screen so that we can animate it in a non-destructive way, which will allow us to create different variations in the future. Head on over to After Effects and let's start by importing our assets. I've got the screenshot image and I've also got an MP4 file of the same YouTube video. So I'll just drag both of these into my project. And now we're going to create 3 separate compositions. First, let's create a composition for the screenshot by dragging it onto this icon here and rename it to screenshot. Then let's drag this layer and we can call it video. Now let's create one more, which will be our main composition. I'll name it UI animation. Set the size to 1920 by 1080 and the frame rate to 30. The duration can be however long you'd like. I'll just keep it at 20. Alright, now we can drag in our asset comps. And I'll hide the video layer for now so that we can get the screenshot in place. Hit S to open up the scale control and let's drag that down till it fits in the viewer. Just like that. As you can see up here, the menu icon is within the boundary, so this size will work for us. We can now make the video layer visible again and scale it down till it fits in the original image. That's a bit too small, so let's just make it a little bit bigger. So yeah, something like that works. To keep it true to how it looks on YouTube, we can add rounded corners to the video. To do this, we can apply the roughen edges effect. So let's just drag that onto our video. And we're going to change the edge sharpness to 10 and the fractal influence to 0. Now we can apply a radius by changing the border size. You'll be able to see it better if I hide the layer under. Let me just zoom in. So if I increase the border amount, it increases the corner radius. For the video, I think we could have it a bit lower than that. Maybe about 25. Yeah, that looks great. Alright, now we can unhide the screenshot layer and break it down into different components using masks. Select the rectangular shape tool, and in this image we have the description, info and the title, and then up top we have the menu, the YouTube logo, the search bar and the mic icon. That's 7 different components that we'll need to separate. Duplicate the screenshot layer 6 times so that we have 7 comps in total. I'll select the first layer and we can start masking out each row. So that's the description. Select the layer above and then mask out the channel info. Then we've got the title. It will be good to rename each of the layers as we go along so that they don't confuse us later. I'll change this one to description. This one is the channel info. And this is the title. Okay, now we've got the menu, so let's just mask that and rename it to menu. Then the YouTube logo. And then we have the search bar. And finally the mic icon. Now that everything is masked off, we can align all of our elements. I'm going to center the video to the middle of the composition. Use the align panel so that you can get it directly in the middle. Let's just drag this up a bit so we can see all the layers. Hit U to close the layer controls. Then hold shift and select the description, channel info and title layers together. And just drag them beneath the video. You can place a guideline besides the video to help you. So something like that. We can drag another guideline to the other side. There's a bit of a gap here, so I'll just drag the layers over a little so that the gap is equal on both sides. Now let's get the top row in place. Select the layers whilst holding shift We don't want to move them individually yet, as it will mess up the vertical alignment. Let's just select that and drag it above the video. Make sure that it's aligned to the guidelines as well. Now move the menu and the YouTube logo together to our other guideline. That's looking good so far. Let me just make this a bit bigger for you guys. Alright, now create a new solid. I'll name it background. And make sure the fill color is set to white. And just drag it to the bottom. This is what we have so far. It does look a little off from the center, which was done on purpose so that the video will zoom into the frame perfectly. Let's do that right now. Select all the screenshot layers, make sure you don't select the background. And under parent and link, drag the pick whip icon to the video layer. What this does is links these layers to the video so that if we scale it up, the other layers will scale up too. Alright, expand the timeline so we can see a few more frames. We don't want the video to start zooming in right away, so I'll go to about 20 frames and set a keyframe for the scale. Then we can go to 3 seconds and make the scale 102%. We're going to do 102 instead of 100 so that those rounded corners are not visible anymore. Then we can hit P and set a keyframe for the position at 3 seconds. Hit U twice to see both the scale and the position. Now go back to our first scale keyframe and adjust the layers so that it's visually centered. It doesn't have to be accurate, just make sure it looks good. Something like that. And we can smoothen out this animation by applying Easy Ease. This is how it looks without it. It's quite flat and boring. Select the keyframes, right click and then select Easy Ease. Go into the graph editor and adjust each one of the points to create a more fluid animation. And we can also enable motion blur. This is how it looks with Easy Ease applied. A lot smoother than what it was. It starts slightly slow, then speeds up and then ramps back down. We can now start animating the UI elements. Just before it starts zooming in, we want all of the rows to be in the positions they're currently at. So select all of the screenshot layers and open the position control. Let me just scale this up a bit. And then set a keyframe which should apply to each of the layers. Now let's go to the start of our timeline. I'm going to begin with the bottom rows. Select the description, channel info and title and drag them out of the view whilst holding shift. This is how it's looking at the moment. As you can see, it's as though everything is moving up together. But we want to give off the effect that each row is moving on its own. We can achieve this by going back to the start of our timeline and creating space between each row. So let's just drag those apart. Okay, just like that. Now that there's some space, it looks a lot better. And it gives off the effect that they're moving up at different times. That's the bottom row done. We can do the same for the top row. Highlight the top row layers and drag them up till they're not in view anymore. We want these icons to come in staggered, so one after the other. The menu can stay where it is. The YouTube icon can be moved up slightly. The same goes for the search box. Make sure that each time you're dragging the layer higher than the last. And finally, the mic can go above the rest so that it comes in last. This is how it looks. It's okay, but we can improve it. Highlight the keyframes and apply Easy Ease. Then go into the graph editor and drag the right point all the way to the left so that the layers slow down as they slide in. And we can also apply some motion blur. That looks much better. If you're finding this video helpful, then be sure to hit the subscribe button. I've only got 70 at the moment, so every little helps. You could leave the animation like this, or we could spice it up with some additional effects to really give it that Iman Gadzhi look. Let me just drag the timeline so that we can see our layers. Create an adjustment layer and rename it to blur. Now apply a fast box blur effect and set the radius to 5. Our entire composition is blurred, but we only want to have the blur effect on each corner. To achieve this, we can mask out the blur. Select the ellipse shape, and then double click the ellipse icon and it will create a mask for us. The blur is still visible in the center because the mask is set to add. Change it to subtract and it should invert the mask. We can now scale it down holding Command and Shift so that each side moves evenly. That looks good. We can see here that where the blur meets the animation, it's very harsh. So open up the mask controls and set the feather amount to 400. Perfect. Now create a new adjustment layer called Effects. Add in the Optics Compensation effect. This will distort the sides, kind of like a fisheye. Set the FOV to 10 and then press Reverse Lens Distortion. It's a very subtle effect. You can increase the amount if you want. Let me show you what it's actually doing. This is with the effect turned on, and this is how it looks with it off. It's more dramatic on the corners of the design. And finally, let's add a vignette. Change the amount to 70. And there we have it, our final animation. Let me show you how you can change the screenshot and video so that you can use this animation multiple times. I'll go back to YouTube and go to another one of my videos. The title and the description is different to the one we used before. Screenshot this page, making sure it's capturing the whole screen just like we did with the first one. Now we can go back to After Effects and drag in our new screenshot. Open up the screenshot composition and drag the image above the old one. Now if we go back to our main comp, we can see that the info has changed and the animation still works. You could do the same in the video comp as well. Now, this is the secret all you guys have been waiting for. How can we improve what we just made and create a Premiere Pro template that can be used countless times to help speed up our workflow? It's by using this amazing built-in feature called Essential Graphics. First go to Window and then enable the Essential Graphics panel. Change the primary composition to our main comp, UI Animation. Now go to the Screenshot comp and drag the image onto this panel. I have two layers here, so I'll drag the top one, but you should only have one. Then go to the Video comp and drag your video layer onto the Essential Graphics panel. We can change the name to UI Animation and then hit Export. Export it to wherever you'd like and hit OK. It might take a bit of time. Alright, now that it's done, we can head on over to Premiere Pro. Make sure the Essential Graphics panel is open and hit this icon on the bottom right. Select your UI Animation MOGRT file and drag it onto the timeline. Here it is, working just as it did in After Effects. Select the layer to open up the edit controls. Since we added the image and video to the Essential Graphics panel in After Effects, they should show up as input fields here. It's currently set to the screenshot of my video, How to Edit like Iman Gadzhi. I'll drag in the other screenshot above the image field. And now it's changed to How to Make Animated Backgrounds. I'll hit play and see that everything is still working. We're also able to swap out the video, so let me drag in one of my other videos. And it's changed straight away, all within Premiere Pro. And that's how you create Premiere Pro templates. I'll have this project file linked in the description if you want it for yourself. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time.